funds from the state fair. And so that's how it started.
Cool. So, and how many years ago was that, Jerry?
2012.
2012. Okay, so you guys have been doing a little while. And what's the response been?
Well, so far it seems to grow. I think every year it started maybe small, but again, we didn't get a lot of publicity out the first year. It's gotten bigger last year. I think we raised for the Veterans Organization something around $3,300. I expect and hope this year will be over $4,000.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Hickory Ridge Golf Course, and those of us that know the course know that I always comment, I think it's the finest course in the region. I really mean that. It's a great layout.
It's a great course. Absolutely fantastic.
It really is. And it's a shotgun start. Explain that. What does that mean exactly? You guys aren't going to be doing like a turkey shoot or anything out there while you're doing this, are you?
No. What we'll do is everybody will start at 1 o'clock. The foursomes will go off on individual holes. So if we have 9 groups of 4, then there will just be a foursome starting on each of the first 9 holes. If we have more than that, then we will double up on some of the holes. We won't play the back 9, we'll only play the front.
Okay. And is it a best ball layout, or is everybody, how's it working?
Since the teams are actually put together by the people, you can't play a score. It would be totally unfair because we have some teams, we have some fellows that are World War II veterans that are going to be playing at it, and then we have some people that are, handicaps like Keith, less than 10, and so we don't try to do any score. We do closest to the pin, longest drive.
Yeah, we will have at least a prize on every hole. So some of them on the par 3s will be who lands their ball closest to the pin. And some of the holes will have we don't go with long drive again because we got 90-year-olds out there and we got 30-year-olds, and that's not fair. So we do play a shot that lands closest to the center of the fairway. So that's
a little fairer.
Equal for everybody. And then we'll have longest putt. And if you're like my team, we look at that and we go, okay, there's a dozen golf balls for the longest putt, so I'm not going to try to land close to the hole. I'm going to try to be outside and still be able to make the putt. So we're in it not for the score, we're in it for the fun.
A little conniving going on.
So it's a fun event. There's some friendly competition, but it's really more about camaraderie, it sounds like, and raising money for a good cause.
Raising money for the veterans because, we each person, the charge is $50, $25 of that will go to the hospital in Marion or the organization that helps out, the Marine Corps League Auxiliary. They help with the hospital as well as the veterans' home. And the other $25 covers the green fees. We'll have lunch. And I'd like to point out that, some people are unable to play, but they're interested in making a contribution to the veterans group. And we welcome the contributions from anyone and everyone.
Okay, cool. And so if people are in that category, Jerry, that you just mentioned, they can always make checks, looks like payable to the Carbondale Park District Veterans Outing.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to contribute but you don't want to play, or maybe they just want to come out and say hi and get the thing started, and they can do that as well.
Come out with us and get abused a little bit in terms of why they're not playing.
Yeah. Jerry's not afraid to dish out some abuse. That's one I've learned over the years.
We all, he has a comment, one of our players that was, came over on some boat or...
Well, one of the 90-year-olds, I think he was a deckhand on the Mayflower, but I'm not absolutely certain about it.
The past several years, we don't know if we're going to get this organized this year. Some of the people at the Marion Hospital have brought over several of the veterans, and they've held a car wash there as we're doing the lunch and getting organized and such. And they'll, you give them their keys, they wash the car, they'll park it for you, bring the keys back, and there's basically just a bucket, throw a 10 or a 20 in there, and that money all goes directly to the Marion veterans.
So we touched on that a little bit, Keith. It sounds like the funds go to the VA and to the Marine Corps Auxiliary. What do they use them for specifically?
Basically, it's distributed directly to the veterans by the people there. And it will go for necessities, whether it be socks, T-shirts, underwear, things like that.
Sorry, we had a technical difficulty there.
And the Marine Corps League representatives, they will visit the hospital as well as the Veterans Home in Anna. Sometimes at Christmas times, they will simply go by and give presents. They participate in the various organizations, units. For example, the PTSD unit, they make contributions to that. They make contributions to the Veterans Rehab unit. And I understand they also even helped a little bit on the honor flight that just recently
last
completed.
week, I believe.
Yeah, the honor flight was pushed. So they're passing on the money directly to veterans, and that was one of the things when we first started this. So we said, hey, we're going to give you money, give you funding, but we do not want it to go anybody's but to veterans.
Right. Because you bring up some great points, and it's certainly it's not a shock to many that a lot of these folks, they've made tremendous sacrifices, but many of them are in a place in their life now where they need help. And so this is just a little something we can all do to give back.
Well, the representatives that we've talked to from the hospital indicate, some of these fellows are over there and they may need a jacket, wintertime. They may need a pair of shoes or some socks. And unfortunately, unless they have the funding, personal funding, they don't get it. So they have freedom to use this money however, wherever, whenever they need to use it.
Right. So again, this is a Veterans Golf outing that's at Hickory Ridge Golf Course Thursday, November 1st, 2018. It's lunch is at noon. Shotgun start 1 p.m. By all accounts, weather should be really nice. It's a great event to come out, have fun. Funds go to a great cause. If you want to learn more, I would assume this on the Park District's website as well. But it's also in the city of Carbondale. We have some posts on there, and we'll continue to post this up to the day of the event. ExploreCarbondale.com. We have a Facebook page.
Anyone could contact the Carbondale Park District at the Hickory Lodge, and certainly Lenore knows and can give them information.
Yep. And we also talked briefly as we were getting ready to start the show, there's other Veterans Day events going on, and we always have our Veterans Day event on at Veterans Park here in downtown Carbondale. And so we should have some announcements coming up soon on that. And then the flags we just talked about. Jerry, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I can't remember now, Gary, when we first started this, but we approached the previous city manager 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago about putting up flags, and we had designs on doing it on Illinois Avenue and so forth. It didn't actually work out. So about, again, 4 or 5 years ago, Ellis Mitchell and myself met with the former mayor, former city manager, and decided to go with flags between Washington and Illinois Avenue. I think there's 28 or 29 flags that go up. And that was the first phase. Then when the city initiated the beautification project, and you had the flower beds from, Mill Street to Cherry, and it looked like an ideal place to put up flags. And we do this 4 times a year. This is done on Memorial Day, Flag Day, 4th of July, and Veterans Day. And so this past year we did the first phase of the beautification project, and now that you've completed the second phase, which is from Cherry to Monroe, we will be putting those up whatever day that the city decides to have the ceremony at Veterans Plaza. But right now I think there's close to 100 flags that go up, and we thank several organizations. The city's been very cooperative in putting the sleeves in the ground that we need to have put the flagpoles in. The Woodmen of the World was the organization that donated the flags to us. Penn Aluminum donated the flagpoles. So it's really been a cooperative, a community area effort to recognize veterans and so forth.
Yeah, it's great when things like that come together.
Yes,
you get a bunch of different groups
really
working together for that. And I don't have the date. The date for Veterans Day is, bear with me. Steve, do you know the date off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, but I was wondering how many volunteers help you put the flags out?
We will need about at least 10 or 15 lions. We'll go out this time of the year. Indicated we'll probably start about 7 o'clock in the morning. I think daylight saving times kicks in, so we'll be able to put them up at 7 o'clock and probably bring them down about 4:30 in the afternoon. But it takes, you're talking about a half hour to 45 minutes, 10 or 15 people starting at the Mill Street and working north, and it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. It's a beautiful display, and it just goes to show how important the service organizations are to this community.
Yes.
Yep. I'm going to help you with that this year, too.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's November 12th, by the way. And again, we don't have our set schedule yet, but we'll be reporting that soon on our website. We generally have a keynote speaker, and there's a nice ceremony. They play taps at Veterans Plaza.
So we'll be on the Monday the 12th.
It's typically on that day of Veterans Day. But let me verify that, and more news will follow soon.
Yes. Okay. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I need to let the volunteers know. I mean, corral Keith. Keith asked at times he could help us.
So, gentlemen, anything else we want to talk about with Veterans Day out? Anything else that folks need to know? If you want to remind them again of the date and time.
The Veterans Golf Scramble is Thursday, November the 1st, in case there should be inclement weather, and Jerry's in charge of the weather. The rain date would be the next Thursday, which would be the 8th, I believe. But it's $50 entry, $25 is tax deductible, and of the $25 that goes to the veterans, that's directly. There's no administrative cost with that. The $25 to the park district covers the golf, covers lunch, covers your golf cart, and all the fun you can have. And there will be prizes on every hole.
Yep, and it's going to a great cause for some folks that really deserve it.
Anybody who wants to play, welcome to do so. If anybody cannot play, would like to make a contribution, we would welcome their help.
Awesome.
That's for sure.
Gentlemen, thanks for all you're doing for the community, and thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Let's take a break, Steve. We're going to listen to some announcements, and we'll be back shortly.
Or the Veterans Day will be on Saturday.
Steve, we're back, and one of the beautiful things I always remind folks about community radio is it's run by volunteers like myself that have absolutely no electronic media experience whatsoever, certainly no experience with very technical devices and things that are complicated, and because of that, sometimes we have glitches and we don't get to hear radio announcements because the operator doesn't know how to download the link. So,
well, that's the thing about a live show. You just have to wing it, right? Sometimes.
You just have to wing it sometimes. But needless to say, there's always lots going on in Carbondale. But some of the biggest things going on this week is Revolve Halloween.
Yeah. We've got a huge schedule of events planned for mostly October the 26th and 27th. But it's been quite a process. It's been really eye-opening to see just how the entire community has come out in support of putting together a reboot of Carbondale Halloween. It's the committee. There's 22 members that sit on that committee, and representing 12 different organizations. It's from service organizations to private business and a number of other community groups. It's just really been exciting to see people come together and work together, and it's been a really rewarding experience.
So let's back up real quick. So, you and I obviously are old enough, and a lot of the people listening are old enough to remember Halloween, right? And so I certainly, we both grew up in the area, but I never went to the Halloweens back in the 70s. I didn't grow up in Carbondale, but a lot of folks have wonderful memories of going down early in the evening with families and everybody dressed up, and they took their kids down, and it was like a big trick-or-treat day, and then slowly that evolved more into a party, and like when we were in college, it had become more of a drinking fest, really, for lack of a better word. But I think still, in the late 80s, it was still regarded as a pretty fun, pretty positive event that drew people in from all over the Midwest. And I certainly have very fond memories of the last two actually it was the last two Halloweens, I believe, the city sanctioned. I was in school here and I attended, and they were just, I've not been to events like that in Carbondale since. So I think a lot of people will hold on to those memories, right? And that nostalgia of wondering, remembering how cool it was.
Well, it's funny. Carbondale has a long history with Halloween. As a matter of fact, I saw a photo from 1914 of a Halloween parade downtown Carbondale. And What we think of as Carbondale Halloween right now actually really got its kickoff in 1978, as far back as 78, when Bob Dylan played a concert at the arena.
And it was on Halloween night.
It was on Halloween night, which is a Saturday, right? So it was like a perfect storm of things. And once the concert was over, the crowds just came and filled up downtown Carbondale. And so that really kind of got things kicked off. And like you said, people would dress up. I remember going in the early to mid 80s, and the costumes were amazing, just so creative, so hilarious. It was just really a lot of fun. And but obviously things turned later on, and the city and the university felt like they needed to shut it down. But it's been discontinued for 18 years now. Mm-hmm. And
I think but the 18 years, I think there was a number after the city. I think it was 88 was the last one, 89 the last one where they closed the streets down. But then after that, there ended up being these ad hoc celebrations where people still came to Carbondale, but they would converge on downtown. They would effectively shut the streets down. And then it's when it got a little more, it was when it got more violent and a lot more negativity that surrounded the event.
Exactly. So, yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to not focus on. We have a long schedule of events that has a lot of family-friendly activities involved. Actually, that weekend starts early. On Wednesday the 24th, October 24th, Carbondale Community for the Arts has a pumpkin racer workshop. So if you are interested in the pumpkin races, if you want to get a pumpkin and decorate it and get wheels on it and roll it down a hill and see if you can win the $100 prize, come on out to CCA from 4 to 7 p.m. Now, I will say, before I go any further, that if you want any additional information, CarbondaleHalloween.com is the place that you can go to have all the information, get all the details. And if you have any follow-up questions after you've taken a look at that, just fill in the contact us form, and we'll get right back with you.
Cool. And so that starts on Wednesday. That's at CCA's 304.
Yeah, that's correct.
Gallery.
Art Space 304.
Correct.
That's
on Walnut
exactly
Street.
right.
Yep.
Right. And then on Friday, even on Friday evening, there's a big long list of events. From 6 to 9 p.m., Pumpkin Glow out on North Oakland. This is the second year that Green Earth has put this together, and it's basically a woodland hike at night that's lit by jack-o'-lanterns. I didn't go last year, but I've heard it was really
Sounds
beautiful.
really cool. And remind us, which preserve is it at?
That is at the Oakland Nature Preserve on North Oakland. So it's
right near the cemetery.
Right near the cemetery, and any proceeds go to help support the Boys and Girls Club of Carbondale and Green Earth.
Cool.
And that's the other characteristic of this event. The proceeds from almost all of the events go to support community organizations, community service organizations, and we're really proud of that. But as far as the rest of the evening on Friday, SIU has been heavily involved in planning. As a matter of fact, the Student Programming Council is hosting a Disney movie called Halloween Town on the steps of Shryock Auditorium. And that's going to be a lot of fun for the kids. Carbondale Main Street has their final Fourth Friday Fair that evening at the Town Square Pavilion. And Dia de los Muertos, and I apologize to any Spanish speakers out there because my Spanish is pretty bad. But it's going to be a fun, free music, lots of games and events and a food court and that sort of thing. So come on out to that. And then the Varsity Center has really stepped up their programming for Halloween weekend, and from 7:30 to 9:30, they're going to have the Phantom of the Opera, and it's going to be it's the old 1920s silent film, classic horror movie, and a band out of Austin called the Invincible Czars have programmed this, have scored their own original accompaniment. They're going to be playing live. And you went to one last year.
Yeah, so I got to speak up about this because last year we went. It sounded interesting, and last year we went, and these guys are just unbelievable. And my wife and I had went to watch Jekyll and Hyde, and it was amazing. And then they did. There was an intermission, and then they did Nosferatu afterwards, which is a classic, I think, a 1920s horror movie. It's the original Dracula. Original Dracula movie, and the scores are amazing, and there's a whole range of instruments these guys use. They're very talented musicians, and they spend months and months and months crafting these original scores. So everything throughout the silent movie of, a rocking chair moving and doors cracking open. They have an instrument to complement that, and it's just the timing, everything. It's one of the coolest live performances I've ever seen, and I would encourage people if you have a chance and want to see something interesting, it's really neat.
I'm definitely going to try to be there. It sounds like so much fun.
Yep.
I can't wait. But so yeah, a lot of fun stuff on Friday, and that was just Friday, right? So we had all kinds of events on Friday, and then Saturday gets kicked off very early in the morning with a Monster Dash 5K at 7:30, from 7:30 to 10:30, and this is a timed event. So if you're a runner, or if you know any runners who want to participate in a timed event, it's going to be. It starts off at the Student Rec Center, and their track basically follows. It's on campus, almost entirely on campus. So you get to see Carbondale SIU's beautiful campus and compete in a race, a timed event. But they'll also will have a fun run. So dress up in your best Halloween costume and come on out and run through campus. So it's going to be pretty neat. We're super excited about the Student Rec Center's participation in this as well.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot.
Because they were doing an event in the past, I think, kind of on the same weekend, and they were trying to tie it into a bigger day of events. We're hoping to grow that. So this should be hopefully it'll become a very popular 5K in the future.
Yeah, that's actually that's our hope. It sure is. And then again at 10 a.m. on Saturday, the 21st annual Murdale Safe Halloween. It began, George Sheffer, who was the owner of Murdale True Value, began this 21 years ago. And he wanted a place for all the kids to come and have a good time. And he's carried the tradition on, even though it's now Murdale Ace Hardware. Murdale Ace has stepped up and are fully supporting this. So they're investing a lot of time and talent into creating another fun event for the kids. There's going to be inflatables, hay rides, games, trick-or-treating with some of the participating Murdale merchants. There's going to be assistance available to build pumpkin racers again. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities to build those pumpkins if you want to race one for the pumpkin race later on that Saturday. But the Carbondale Police Department will be there for a meet and greet. And there will be a safe firehouse from Carbondale Fire Department. So again, proceeds from this event go to support Carbondale Crime Stoppers and the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, in the public, please, anytime you get a chance to come out and meet our guys, we have such great staffs in both our police and fire departments that are really committed to helping people and professional. And so, stop and say hi to those guys and get to learn a little bit about what they're up to.
I tell you, they are professionals.
Yep.
It's a good feeling knowing we got such high quality individuals working here. Well, and then just continue looking to schedule events. Varsity Center again stepped up from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to be showing free movies, free admission to old horror films from all that time. So if you want to sneak in and catch a quick old horror film, come on into the Varsity. And they're going to be having street performers from 2 to 8 outside on the sidewalk. So that's going to be a really neat addition to the downtown. Also, Carbondale Main Street is going to be hosting a Carbondale Main Street Candy Walk. So you wear your best costume, go to Carbondale Main Street, pick up a map, and a list of businesses that are participating, and get some candy early. And then Carbondale Zombie Walk starts as well. So that
always gets a really good turnout too.
It does. Yeah. It does. It's I've not participated in it, but I've seen photos, and it's a bunch of people get together. They dress up like zombies, and they walk from the Guy House over to Castle Perilous. So it's a really neat kind of thing. The walk itself starts at 4:30, or I'm sorry, 4 o'clock, and goes to 5. But if you want help getting your zombie makeup on, that all starts at 12 noon. And there is a small registration fee, but that just kind of helps to offset the cost of the makeup and that sort of thing. Yep. So that's a really neat event there as well. And then the Great Carbondale Pumpkin Race. So this is the 6th year.
It's really grown.
It has grown. It's really taken off. Marcia Sennett with the Rotary Club is one of the main sponsors, and I know that Megan Cole at Carbondale Main Street is a huge puts a lot of work and effort into it. Her and her team do. But the registration for that begins at 1, and the races begin at 2. And the races are free, so there's no entry fee at all, but there is a $100 grand prize. Mm-hmm. And there's also going to be a Mayor Branding Grand Prix after the final heat, and that's a $10 entry fee, but you get a chance for $250 grand prize. So if you soup up those pumpkins and enter a chance to win. Now CCA again is going to host a costume contest, so another chance to get dressed up. I was talking to a lady who said that her grandchildren worked really hard on all their costumes, and it's really nice to have multiple events that the kids can wear their costumes, not just a couple hours on trick or treat night. So big costume contest at the pumpkin race.
Cool. So, Steve, we just had a couple minutes left. Let's run through the music lineup because we're pretty excited about this too.
Absolutely. Yeah, from 3 to 11 at 200 South Washington Street, at the music venue there. We've got Farmer Jason's going to kick it off at 3. Farmer Jason is Jason Ringberg, and he's an Emmy Award winner. He is a pioneer of modern Americana and alt-country genres, and he's created Farmer Jason to teach kids about the wonders of nature and farm life.
Kids love the guy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They love him. He played during the eclipse as well, and
it's a big hit.
He's a huge hit. He's a great talent, and we're really excited to have him. Then after Farmer Jason, Lucas Feather and the Underclassmen. Great local band. It's a Carbondale-based funk band. And high school students and just a little bit older. So they're young, talented performers. I've seen videos on them. As a matter of fact, you can go to carbondalehalloween.com, and we've got videos of all these performers. Then after that, at 6 p.m., a local favorite, Tall Paul, is going to be playing. He's Carbondale's own blues legend. He's been probably the most consistent live act in Southern Illinois since 1989. We're looking real happy to have him on board. And then I think probably one of the bigger announcements for Southern Illinois is Woodbox Gang. Woodbox Gang's going to be playing after Tall Paul. This is going to be their only concert of the year, and we're very excited to have them there. If you're not familiar with Woodbox Gang, go to carbondalehalloween.com and click on the link, and you're going to hear at least one of the songs and get a chance to hear. There's a lot of music downloaded to YouTube with the Woodbox Gang, and I've been a fan of them for years and years, and I'm really excited about it. And then lastly, closing the music set out, Los Straitjackets. Now, I hadn't heard of Los Straitjackets before, I'll have to be honest, but when I looked them up, I thought, wow.
I think it's a great fit. Yeah,
what a perfect band. Yeah. They're actually known worldwide. They've released 16 albums, and some of the videos that I saw were from Conan O'Brien's talk show. They're apparently one of Conan's favorite bands. They're on there all the time. But their trademark are the Lucha Libre Mexican wrestling mask. Yep. These guys come out, they play rockabilly surf music, and
they're really good, and they're fun and
high energy, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. People are really going to respond well, I think. And also, real quick, because a lot of people have asked us these questions, we have the open alcohol policy in place.
We do.
I think from 3 to midnight.
That's correct.
Yeah, same area as during the eclipse. And I think you've got a beer tent over at the area on Washington Street as well.
Beer and food.
And food.
Yep. And there will be free art activities for the kids. Cool. So, we've got just a number of different things going on at that music venue.
Yeah, so please come out. I mean, obviously, it's taken a lot of willingness to change, right, from a lot of people in Carbondale and specifically in the city to get to this point where we reintroduced Halloween, or the idea of having a Halloween. So it's of the utmost important that folks come and participate and have a friendly, safe Halloween and have fun. And we can, hopefully we can get this thing growing back to a point where we can get back to the times that you and I talked about earlier, where we have large crowds and we have we're well known as a place to have this, great fall event.
Yeah, it's a fun event. That's right. Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So, Steve, anything else you want to add before we?
The
sign
only
off?
thing I could add is that the official city trick-or-treating is going to be on Wednesday, October the 31st.
Yes.
From 5 to 8 p.m.
5 days, yeah. So if you didn't get enough stuff to do over the weekend, you rest up for a couple days and
get some more sugar.
Yeah, your kids probably need it. So. All right, well, listen, that is all for us. And again, CarbondaleHalloween.com. We have a really nice website that we've put together to highlight all the events. And if you have any questions, you can also contact the city. You can follow our Facebook page. But we hope everybody comes out this weekend and has